and thank you for joining us on the program from the National Assembly. I am Lami Ali. The House of Representatives Committee on Works says 3 major contracts, namely the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, the second Niger Bridge, and the Abuja-Kaduna-Kano Road are all moving at a slow pace. And so it invited the construction company to provide explanations on why it was single-handedly given all these contracts to handle by the Federal Ministry of Works. That is our package on the programs today. At the investigative hearing on the 3 major road projects by the House Committee on Works, House members expressed worry that the pace of work by the contracting firm handling these key projects shows that it lacks the capacity to deliver.
We have tons of petitions from Nigerians declaring slow pace of work on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, second Niger Bridge, and Abuja-Kaduna-Zaria-Kano roads. Nigerians are paying with their blood, time, and resources. At the rate at which the slow pace of working is going on, there's no way that the President Buhari will commission these projects during his tenure. The effort of federal government of Nigeria to secure the Abacha looted money is well documented. The government has said the money will be used on these 3 critical projects. We will not allow money to be looted through inefficiency or corruption. We cannot sit by and ignore the plight of Nigerians suffering daily on these roads. And we will not allow the effort of the President to deliver this project to Nigeria be in vain. We have called you here today to tell Nigerians what you are doing on all the 3 projects handled by your company. So before we can take some questions from our honorable colleagues, I would like to invite the Managing Director for JB to shed some light before we can start asking some questions in our public hearing today.
These projects are in the focus of Nigerian citizens. They are priority projects by the federal government, handled by the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing, and also funded, and it's also our client is the NSA, as you mentioned already. So that means we have 2 clients. Federal Ministry of Works is our technical supervisory team, and our client, and NSA is our funding partner. So I would like to start with, I think, with the second River Niger Bridge, which is, as the name is already saying, is crossing the River Niger from Anambra to, or from Asaba to Niger. The letter of award was given in July 2018. The contract was signed then in August, and commencement was done in September 1st, 2018. The construction period is 42 months, and I think you have a handout. Everybody has gotten a handout. I think you can see also the ongoing construction works there. What is the scope? The scope is to construct a road, including the bridge of 11 kilometers with a 2x3 lane expressway. The bridge itself is 1,600 meters long. That means it's not only the bridge, the name is saying bridge, but it's also more than 10 kilometer roadworks through a swampy terrain. There are 2 additional secondary bridges in Amakon village and in Anantani Road. There's ongoing demolishing of existing flyovers, approach roads of 3.3 kilometers on one side, on the other side 7 kilometers, and more than 20 culverts, 1 toll station with 16 lanes. That is part of the scope. Where we are at the moment, on road and infrastructures, we have achieved already 56%, and on the main bridge we have achieved 35%. So overall, we can say 43% have so far achieved on progress on the second River Niger Bridge. I think the ongoing works you can read by yourself what we are right now doing there. I think very impressive are the pictures on page number 5. Let me start with the first picture on number 5. You see already all pillars have been completed. And on the left-hand side, you can see already the first portion of the approach bridge. On the page number 6, showing also the approach bridge. On the upper picture, the lower picture is showing the ongoing works on the pile caps and also on the piers on the navigation channel. All works are at the moment ongoing. We are according to the time schedule in time. There's a construction schedule in place which is communicated to the client, to the Federal Ministry of Works, and I can say that we will deliver the project in time. Some challenges we have, that especially compensation and relocation, which is handled by the ministry. There are some delays, and we hope that the ministry is solving these issues very soon, that we are not hindered in our works. I think most important is also on page number 9, you can see there are a lot of filling works, filling activities ongoing. As I mentioned, it's not only the bridge, we are talking about 10 kilometers of road through swampy terrain. Here you can see the filling. On page number 11, I think it's also good to show this the Owerri interchange. As you can see, piling has been done already. The demolition of the existing flyover is ongoing, and we have diverted the traffic, so there's no interruption in the traffic flow. That for the River Niger Bridge. Let me come to Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. The project is split into sections. One section is handled by RCC, and the other section was awarded in, let me check, was awarded already in 2013. In 2013 to Julius Berger. We are talking about a road of more than 40 kilometers or 43 kilometers length. So far we have achieved on the roadworks already 71%, rehabilitation of existing bridges 30%, and new bridges and structures only 2%. That means total achievement we can talk about 56%. Ongoing works is in the road and the drainage works. The works are ongoing. We are working in 3 sections simultaneously. The bridge works are ongoing with piling, structural works, and also we are preparing for the next piling on the next bridge at chainage kilometer 37 plus 700, and bridge rehabilitation ongoing. I think that's all. What I want to mention is that on page number 12, on page number 6 of this report, you can see the contractual completion date, that is July 22. That means in 2 years. And the actual completion date estimated by us, you can see that we are in some works even ahead the schedule. For example, the new flyovers are scheduled for October 21. The upgrade on the underpasses is scheduled also for next year. That means 1 year ahead of the completion, contractual completion date. On Lagos-Ibadan, I think it's the most frequented road in Nigeria, even in West Africa. So we have a proper traffic management in place with emergency response team. We have a close cooperation with the Federal Road Safety Corps, and even we are using social medias to distribute news about the traffic or about accidents and breakdowns to the road users. On page number 11, you can see also a statistic. The biggest problem what we are facing there is not the gridlock coming out from the diversion, that is purely the accidents and the broken down vehicles. And on page 10 you can see that we assist the Federal Road Safety on providing of equipment to remove all these scrap vehicles or vehicles coming out from accidents. Now let me go over to the Abuja Kaduna Zaria Kano Road, the last project, but not the easiest one. It was awarded in January, or it was awarded in January 2018, and the commencement is the 16th of August 2018. We have a construction period of 36 months. We have split the project in 3 sections. That is the section from Abuja to Kaduna, from Kaduna to Zaria with 37 kilometers, and from Zaria to Kano with 137 kilometers. We have mobilized in all 3 sections simultaneously. That means we are working in all 3 sections simultaneously with independent setups, with mixing plants, with equipment, and with workforces there. Even within the sections, we have opened different groups that we can cover all the required works within the construction period. What we are doing right now is, let me say, to give you a small overview, is we are doing milling of existing pavement, construction of culvert and concrete drains, installation of concrete median barriers, laying of binder cores and bearing cores. We're doing also stabilized material, laying of stabilized material, installation of curbstones and U-turns, and so on. What we have achieved so far is overall 40% on the road. Of course, it varies in between the sections. In section 1, we have almost 39%. In section 2, we have already 60% achieved. And in section 3, 33%. A workforce, we have more than 1,500 people, direct employment, and indirect employment, of course, it's multiplied much higher. We have already handed over some sections to the clients, that means to the Ministry of Works, after a joint inspection. So in December 2019, in section 2, we handed over one portion. In February 2020, we have set more than 700 road signs along the road to guide the traffic users safely, for example, from Abuja to Kano. Of course, we are facing also problems with road accidents, but also here, as on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, we have a close cooperation with the Federal Road Safety Corps. We have a traffic response team, emergency team, who are assisting in removing of vehicles and so on. Right now, the biggest problems what we have there, and I will come now also to this, is that we don't have a free right-of-way so far. In some portions, we are still struggling with relocation and compensation. And as I mentioned it, that is the responsibility of the Federal Ministry of Works. So here we seek assistance also from your house that we get more progress on this side. I think for the first introduction, it's enough.
Mentioning for the records that we have taken notice of your coming to this hearing with a legal counsel. We wonder why that is necessary, but we also are privy to a letter you sent where your legal team seems to have mentioned certain provisions of the Constitution, which will, for the purpose of clarity, still mention. Let me also start by asking, is Julius Berger Incorporated under the Federal Republic of Nigeria? Let me just start interactively first.
Can you come again?
Is Julius Berger Incorporated under the Federal Republic of Nigeria?
Yes.
Thank you very much. I wanted to lay that foundation before I proceed. Now, let me start by asking this question. It will be important to know how you bidded for the 3 projects, because like the chairman mentioned, we owe our constituents, Nigerians, a duty of care because of this plethora of complaints and petitions and the loss of lives, which is even something that you cannot quantify, that our people have suffered in the course of the implementation of this project. So the first thing I want to find out is, how did Julius Berger bid for this project? That is one. And what procurement process are you aware that the company went through? Because when you provide us answers to that, we can proceed from there. And at what cost were these projects awarded to Julius Berger? And in your explanation, I think you omitted providing us the details of the completion period for the second project, Lagos-Ibadan. You said it was awarded in 2013, but you conspicuously, in my opinion, didn't provide the details of the completion period. So it would be important to provide us with that. So the cost of the award for each of the projects, the completion period, and let me also ask, you have a formal contract for each of these projects, is that correct? Okay, great. We'll get to the point of asking for any documents if necessary eventually, but when you provide responses to these questions, and then finally, how much have you received so far for each of these projects? Let me stop there at the moment.
Julius Berger. MD, I believe you know why you are here today. That's why you are putting on the oath, and you are before the National Assembly of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And one of our core mandates as legislators, one, to make laws, two, appropriate, three, to oversight, and by extension, to expose corruption if we really found it. In the submission here made by you, MD, you know you are coming before the National Assembly, and I believe our letter details what we actually need from you people as a Julius Berger. You didn't include the contract award for those three projects issued to you by the client, maybe Federal Ministry of Works. Secondly, the agreement. Thirdly, you know, as a Nigerian, thank God, the previous question asked to you by one of my colleagues here, it stated that we registered this company in Nigeria. And in Nigeria, in every aspect of project, there is a law guiding the process of that particular process entirely, whether in terms of construction, supplies, and any other aspect of the contract. So we wanted to know the process you use in acquiring these three projects, whether it is in conformity or in compliance with the rule of law of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Chairman, that's my first question.
The question raised by my colleague, I want to go a step further. In your submission here, in your document that you submitted, yes, you indicated the progress to date. However, you did not reflect, one, the commencement in fact, for all the projects. And now I'm talking about the Niger Bridge. You did not indicate the commencement date and the expected completion date. Yes, overall progress, you said, is 43%, but we cannot tie this 43%, to performance, because you don't know how much you've collected to date. Ditto for Lagos-Ibadan and Lagos-Ibadan. Although in Lagos-Ibadan, for the completion, you scattered the completion date, but the commencement date, you did not reflect. Now, also, you page 2 of 12, you said the construction of the flyovers has started, but lack of design, okay, for the plaza. I just want to ask from you, is this contract a turnkey, or you were provided with design drawings? Is it your design? That's why I said turnkey, because if it is turnkey, it means it's your design. Okay, it's design and construct. But if it's not your design, then you are expected to be provided with design drawings. So that's why I'm asking, because you said the toll plazas, you are expecting design. Is it your own or from the ministry? Now, finally, on Kaduna 2, now you said there is no, you said the contract started 2018 and is expected to you are expected to hand over in 36 months. If the progress to date is 40.1%, and we are expected to hand over next year, July, inshallah, okay, if I progress what we've done today, which is 40%, I have just 12 months or thereabout. Including, will 12 months complete the outstanding 60% of the job?
We are not involved. We submitted a bid. The tender documents came from the ministry. We have reviewed them. We have put our price on it, and we have submitted it back to the ministry. That is where we are involved. All other issues belonging to the ministry as well as to the Bureau for Public Procurement. And finally, there was a FAC approval, and according to Nigerian law. Contract amount, honestly, I have it here. You have asked for it. It was not part of the invitation, and you have not asked an invitation for it. That maybe I have some lacks there, but the contract amount for the Niger Bridge is 206 billion. For Abuja was 155.7 billion naira. And for Lagos Ibadan, we have now 134.9 billion naira contract amount. 134.9. 134.9. Second Niger Bridge I mentioned. The construction time I mentioned, I think during my Niger Bridge is 206.2.
For second Niger Bridge, what we have is 206,151,693,014 for the S7. That's 206 billion naira. And for Lagos Ibadan, the total contracts, both RCC and JB, is 311 billion. For you, initially was 70 billion. After augmentations, it's 134 billion. For Kano, Abuja, is 155 billion. That's what you have actually.
155, yes. Right. Thank you, Chairman, that you are assisting me. I think we are a good team. Let me, payments, I can't say, I must say, because it was not part of the invitation. I don't have the details here. I have only the contract amount. Coming to the Honorable number 2, who raised the questions concerning contract award in Bema. We were not asked for a submission of any documents. That's why I don't have it with me. Even this report here is, let me say, was prepared to bring more light to you and to brief you on the status. Contractual issues, even you have to ask the ministry that they can submit it to you. And procurement process was asked, I mentioned it already. We are not in charge for the procurement process. That is the ministry, the Bureau for Public Procurement, and other institutions. Let me go to the last honorable who raised a question on the Niger Bridge. I think the commencement date, I mentioned it during my briefing. Let me repeat it. Commencement was 1st September 2018. 1st September 2018. And the completion date is then 42 months later. It's 10th March 2022. On Lagos-Shagamo, you asked me concerning is it a turnkey project, and if Julius Berger is responsible, or is Julius Berger responsible for design? Clearly no. Design responsibility is with the ministry. We have a construction contract and not a EPC contract. That's why we have also delayings there, because the design is coming from the ministry, from the client, not from us. That is for the bridges as well as for the toll plazas, what you mentioned. On Abuja Cargo Road, you said 12 months left for the construction period. That is correct, but outstanding performance is 60%. Yes, but we have to consider that there is a mobilization phase on the beginning. Even for design and engineering, you must consider on the beginning a certain time period, and we have prepared also a work program. That work program shows completion in, after the 36 months, so we are in time, I must say. You cannot think that, that the time and the progress is linear. That doesn't work, because as I said on the beginning, you have a mobilization time, you have time for design and engineering. Even the ministry is providing also the designs there, and I can guarantee you here that we will complete the project within the 36 months, and the remaining 60% will also be performed. Thank you. That was the first question.
Comment on what Honorable Mark asked for you. He asked about the procurement process for these projects. You said he doesn't know. All you did, you sent the document to the Ministry of Works. You know, in Nigeria, on the procurement process, we have three methods of awarding the contracts: selective, competitive, and direct procurement. And from what we have here with us, all these three projects is awarded to JB through direct procurement, through single source. And when you get single source, it's like you get like blank check. Because whatever you quoted, usually they used to, initially like Kano Abuja projects, you quoted 159 billion. They have approved 155. That just reduced like 4 billion or something like that, you know. And on second Niger Bridge, initially was PPP, then they have, and which JB is part of it. Then eventually they have cancelled the PPP and award the contract the same JB through what? Direct procurement. So that's why many Nigerians are complaining. We have a bunch of petitions in our office saying it's either maybe conflict of interest or they just want to inflate the amount of the contracts. Example, Kano Abuja projects initially was selective tender from 3 to 4 companies, CGC, out of contractors, because this document we have, and NTA and sorry, we didn't see any JB in that participation, but all of a sudden, you know, JB appeared on that and awarded the entire 400 kilometer to you. We don't have problem to do even 1,000 kilometers. Our concern is, you know, the results. You know, the president has passion for these projects, both Lagos, Ibadan, Kano, Abuja, and second Niger Bridge. That's his dream. He wants to complete this project before his tenure finished. That's why he initiated this SIA, PIDF. The funding issue is not a problem. Even Abacha money is going to you. Just to make it real for you to do that. So our concern for the Honorable, he wants to know the process. How did you be involved? I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. All right? Mark, I think this is your question, right? So, because, as we know, of course, BPP give you no objection certificates. We know that very well. But eventually, next week, we are going to call them next week to discuss with them, to review the rates, because many people complain the contract is inflated. Right? And people are complaining for that. So of course we have to sit down with the BPP and see how are they arriving at that rate, so that people will see it and justify what they are saying. And we have to consider the duration, the time. This 400 kilometers, like in Kano Abuja road, is my road. I'm from Kano. Every week I used to follow that road. For you to say 39%, 41%, honestly, from our consultant, what we have is like 17.4%. So you are off, and I really want you to be realistic of what you are saying, because as the Committee on Works is concerned, we have a competent consultant for those projects. We want to assist the president to commission these 3 projects. Second Niger Bridge is very important to the south, and southeast. Lagos Ibadan is very important for southwest. Northwest and north central, Kano Abuja project is very important. And it happens your company handles all these projects. So this is the reason why we called you. So I hope whenever you respond to us, respond based on your knowledge, based on your ability. Because already we have all the reports from BPP, NSIA, and everything. We just asking, but we know a lot. I
don't think whether there is necessary for us to prolong the even process. One of our major things as a legislator, and as a people who has the mandate of our people to oversight at the same time, oversight what is being done with tax money, and how all the process of every procurement that being enacted by this House is being done. We have the powers to oversight it. From the explanation of the MD of JB, here, we all see how the whole thing goes. In time, the process in awarding this project is not being followed. And he said it before his answers, that he doesn't know anything. He was just told and he was put in the center and everything just to fill up. And we all know what the procurement process says. And part of our job is to expose what? So I think, honorable members, I'm communicating. So this makes things easier for us. Already we have the whole thing we want to expose. Mr. Chairman, thank God JB are here with their legal team. The procurement process is very clear, which we have it before us here. And we know what the procurement process says. And he confirmed to us that the procurement process is not being followed. So just asking a simple question so that we just follow up this meeting a day. How did they get the project? Simple. Since they are part of the bidders. They are not part of the bidders. We have the bidding process. How did they get the project? Simple.
The MDJB. My concern, I hope he's listening. I have heard your mission, but let me ask you this question. Do you have any funding challenge on these 3 projects? I don't know whether he has gotten my point.
Completion periods that I'm not really satisfied because of the time frame. I think this contract was awarded for 36 months, and I think more than 2 years is gone already. So how are we sure within the next 12 months this project will be completed? That's the guarantee we want to get from the MD JV.
Beja or Bega. I think, like Chairman said, he's from Kano. I'm from Kano. Even this week I'll fly that road. Last week I fly that road. And I remember you came here and we complained on opening some parts of the road you complete. You have done so. You open some parts which is put into traffic. But there are so many issues which is delaying a lot on that road. As you open up the areas which you completed and handed over to works, I think there are areas that even to reduce the traffic, the time there, some of the roads that are under your purview for construction are terribly destroyed. I've seen in one road before along Abuja, Kaduna, which you are trying to come up with a remedy on that. Because if it is part of your job, please try to look at those areas that are critical in terms of travel time. Because most of those roads, some parts of the road are even broken down. Please try to look for those broken down areas to ensure that you bring a remedy to it, so that the traffic time you are doing construction and some of the roads are broken down. So please, this one is just Chairman appeal to Julius Berger to look at those areas to reduce travel time for those areas. I'm happy they open the areas that they complete. Thank you, Chairman.
That decision was made by the government. So, and I don't know, and even the letter of no objection is issued to the ministry and not to Julius Berger. And the procurement process, we don't get any copies of these letters. We are not part of this process. And I want to say to the procurement process that what you said is not correct. The procurement process was right, and we were following the procurement process. So I didn't say anything concerning that we have not followed the procurement process. That is not correct. So I said I'm not aware how they arrived at these conclusions, because we are not part of this process. And I mentioned that we received the documents, we have bid for it, and then it went to the ministry. The ministry is vetting. I think the procurement process itself you know very well. The ministry is vetting. Then the ministry is sending this to BPP. BPP is checking it. BPP is also confirming the rates, even is vetting it again, and is comparing this with other projects. Then it's going a letter of no objection to the ministry back. And then the ministry goes to FEC for FEC approval. And after FEC approval, then the letter of award will be issued. All these, the contractor is not part of it. And we went through all these
point of order here, please.
All these processes. So
Him to respond, and please relax and respond. Okay, take it easy. Okay, yeah. Relax.
I'll relax.
Yeah.
Let me finish.
Take it easy and respond. Don't. Just take it easy. Okay.
Okay. I think then I have answered your question. There was a question concerning funding challenges. We have challenges on funding. Let me say some portions are not covered by PIDF. For example, Lagos-Ibadan. I think before there was a question concerning the construction period, because it was extended, the construction period. Yeah, that is correct. There's a period before PIDF, before NSA took over. And that period we have not paid all amounts that is outstanding. And also on the Niger Bridge, there was the early works, and that early works have not been or has not been paid fully. There are also outstandings. Under PIDF, under NSA, we are paid so far.
Mr. Chairman,
then,
Mr. Chairman, let him be clear with my question. Just MD.
Let me.
In which of these projects do you have money problem? In which of these three key projects you have funding problem? So that the committee step in, help you get the money, and these projects are delivered on time?
Let me say we have outstandings. I have outstandings on Lagos-Ibadan, which were handled under the Ministry of Works. I have outstandings on the Niger Bridge on the early works, which are handled under Federal Ministry of Works as well.
No,
Under
what he's trying to ask, under PIDF.
Under PIDF, I don't have any funding problems. Then let me, I think we're critical areas in between Abuja and Kaduna. There are maybe some spots which must be repaired, that is correct, but please have in mind we are working under the instruction of the ministry. So we do inspections, joint inspections with the ministry. The ministry is identifying major spots, and then we get the instruction to repair or to do some construction works on these spots. That is what we are doing, and that is always, let me say, in collaboration or after according to the instruction of the ministry. It doesn't mean that we can go somewhere even to do some work. But we try, of course, to take care of all these spots along the Abuja-Kano road. I think that's all.
On the Niger, Onitsha, the Niger Bridge. My question is, are you satisfied? Or the analysis so far, the money that has been released to you, when you match it with the actual work done on ground, are you satisfied? I don't know whether you get what I'm saying. Is it up to what you have quoted here? You said 40-something%. You have gotten up to 46%. And I'm asking, sir, with the amount so far released, since PID took over that project, with the amount so far released, are you saying that you have gone more beyond it, or you have not met that, the work so far has not gotten up to the amount of money released? That is one. Two, the second question I want to ask, sir. Before this contract was awarded, that project was under PPP. And Julius Berger was handling that project. Before that time, were you being owed by Federal Ministry of Works? Because from your explanation here, you said you are being owed on that project too. Are you getting me, sir? MD? Yes. You said you are being owed on that Niger Bridge, Onitsha Niger Bridge. Was it before the project was awarded to you? My question is, you have a total sum of this contract. This sum, is it from when? This total sum now you submitted, is it minus the one you have done before the PIB, or what it will take to complete it from the fund, from the scratch? Federal government took over that contract. My question is that the total sum that you awarded this job now, is it from which? Is it from scratch, or at the level they made the project? That's my question, sir.
First, you remember and recognize the fact that ignorance is no excuse. Whether you are aware or not will not excuse you when it comes to implementation of our laws, because you have agreed that you're registered in Nigeria and the laws are applicable to you and your company. In the course of procurement, when they are opening your bid, were you there when they opened your bid? Were you there? One. Then if you are there, who are the other companies that also bidded for this same contract? And possibly, if you tell us yes that we were there, we want to see proof that we were there. Thank you.
Mr. MD, the essence of bidding any kind of projects as high as the one you are handling now is to get competitive bidding in order to
get the qualified and the capable contractor to handle such projects. We were just told, as we were explaining, that you are only called on to, award, this work was given to you without following the proper procurement process in the bidding process or whatever. So now I think your capacity, though we have known you to be a very renowned contractor for years in Nigeria, but you are chewing more than you are biting more than you can chew. These 3 projects at a time, that's why the projects are suffering. Do you have any process, just considering the fact that people are suffering along the road, particularly Abuja, Kaduna, Kano Road, where people are dying because the work is not progressing as expected? Do you have any way of, or any proposal for you to sublet to some capable contractors to handle, or for the committee to put up or engage the Ministry for Works to at least find a way to at least sublet to other contractors after following the due process? What arrangement are you making? Because any project which is not progressing well, there must be some handicaps, particularly manpower, whereby you need to have very high personnel to handle those projects because of the exigency of such roads. From all indications, your work are not all that impressive. What arrangement are you making in that respect?
Mr. Chairman, I'm from Bauchi State. Mr. Chairman, I have a question to ask the MD JB. Mr. MD, it is a fact, a known fact to all Nigerians that due process were not followed. The award of this project, I've said it, that you were just called and tender documents were issued to you. At the end of the day, letters of award in respect of these 3 projects were issued. Now, the fact that due processes were not followed, don't you see reason why this committee should call for the review of this contract, that is the rate at which the ministry or whoever arrive to give you the contract? That is one question. 2, even though JB privileged to know that you have fed about 60%, which I believe the performance did not commiserate with the amount you have collected. I want to believe that these works are too much for you to handle. Don't you see reason why we should recommend, as my colleagues say, for other company to take part of this project? This is my question.
They have collected 19.5 billion on Lagos-Ibadan Express. They have collected 80.2 billion on second Niger Bridge. They have collected 50 billion for Abuja Kano Road. Total collected in December 150 billion 619. But we don't have another additional information. But so far that's what we have in our records. So maybe we can allow MD to respond so we can move on.
Even the early works package is not part of PIDF, and we are here for PIDF. I think that I answered your question. Then there was a question if I was present concerning the bid opening. I was not present concerning the bid opening. Then there was a concern concerning the traffic accidents along the Abuja-Kano road. As I mentioned in my brief report, we have implemented diversions which are, let me say, according to international standard, according to best practice, according to a standard of UK. And we have more than 700 road signs along the road, and we are collaborating very closely with the Federal Road Safety. And
you have not answered my question. Take it gradually. Take my question back and start.
Did you hear what he said? You have not answered the Honorable's question. It's from Delta.
Then maybe you can repeat your questions that I can proper answer, please.
I put it to you, were you there? Because you are supposed to be there, or your representative. Were you there when they opened your bid? And if you are there, we want proof. And you just say it passively, I am not there. If you are not there, how did you bid? How did you bid for this project? It means you did not bid. You must agree that you did not bid for the job at all. You were given in your room. They brought it to you, they gave you the letter. Then, if you agree to that, we can now face the appropriate quarter that is supposed to perform that function. Because it means that you are whatever they gave to you was in error, and you are putting something on nothing, and at the end of the day, it crumbles like a pack of cards. Thank you.
On the beginning you said, was I there? I was not there, but I'm sure one of our representatives was there. So then you...
At the bidding, at the opening of the bid, was Julius Berger at the opening of the bid? It's not about you, a person, but the company.
If it was required, our company was there. Yeah.
Hello, MD.
Yeah.
Hello, MD. MD. This matter is very straightforward. Speaking to this committee under oath, and I'm happy you have your legal team here. They will know the implication of what you are doing. If you lie under oath, you are liable under the law of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and this constitution that we sworn to defend. Please, that question you need to be specific. Was your company present, and who? And the honorable member is demanding for proof, yes or no. Because you have answered us, and you need to affirm it. You are on oath. The implication of it, I must let you know. So you need to be specific. Was your company present at the bid opening, yes or no?
As you asked for the name, I don't know the name who was there, and but I can find out even from the ministry.
The company, we are not interested whether it is Mr. B or Mr. C. That's why I say we are happy you have your legal team here, and you're on the oath. Was they be present at the opening?
The contract, for example, Lagos-Ibadan, was awarded in 2013. In 2013. So please, that is 7 years ago. I was not MD, but as I said, I can find out.
Mr. Chairman, sir, speak to this document, and I want to indulge my colleagues that this document, it is no document before this committee. This is no document because, one, it is not addressed to this committee, no signature, nothing. And all the questions that they've asked the MD of Julius Berger here, he had been evasive in his answering of this question. So I will want to put it that Julius Berger should go back and present this document officially to this committee. His legal team should speak to this document if this is appropriate before Nigerians, and we want the legal team to please speak to this document, if this is a presentation, yes or no.
Yes. Before the deputy raised in a motion, I am making it clear before the gentlemen of the press here to know. What we are doing here, we are not witch hunting anybody. But all we are doing is to protect the life and taxpayers' money. And from what we are seeing here, there is a lot of fraud going on in these three projects. And we are making it categorically for Nigerians to know. We as lawmakers, we are not part of that. And we have a mandate of the House to investigate this. And we are doing our own possible best to investigate. And if we find any corruption, we will categorically expose it to Nigerians to know. I know the federal government, under the leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari, is doing everything possible to make sure that at least they expose corruption. And most of the people that are sharing the affairs of this Julius Berger, they are all people from outside this country. And they are people partnering with us to expose this corruption. I hope they were not here to help us in increasing what we are trying to fight for.
Before my motion, since he came with a legal team, and we know the implication of that, I will want his legal team to attest to the fact that is this a presentation before this committee, yes or no? And looking at this document, even during his answering to all our questions, he said he does not know the amount of money they have collected. And I wonder if somebody who does not know the amount of money they've collected so far manages to know what percentage they have done to this stage. I therefore want to move that JB should go back, do the proper presentation accordingly before this committee, and for us to continue with the investigative thing that we were asked to do by the House. I so move, Mr. Chairman.
I like to second the motion ably moved by the Deputy Chairman House Committee on Works that Julius Berger PLC should go back and represent whatever they have before the committee. I so second.
Just again say nay, that I have it. So I think
No, the chairman is still talking.
the motion has been already ruled, and MD, we want you to go back, prepare your documents, signed, and by then our consultants will have more details.
I want to ask if someone will be allowed to talk apart from the MD concerning this document.
Yes, of course, but for the issue of the documents, we have already, ruled over it, for motions.
Distinguished Chairman, at least we had wanted you to listen to what we're going to say before the motion was moved. First of all, we wanted to talk before the motion was moved.
So, Executive Director Alhaji Beru, of course, it will be appreciated if we can give you the chance next time. So when you come, and you will come, you discuss. I mean, everybody can talk as long as one. So we'll communicate to you in written and give you the next available date, so we can come down and resolve all this.
In the concluding part of this episode of the program from the National Assembly, we bring you the opening session of an investigative hearing being jointly conducted by the House of Representatives Committee on Finance and the House Committee on Banking and Currency. Findings by the National Assembly show that some financial institutions allegedly connive with commercial banks and other private entities to engage in malpractices in foreign exchange. Tax evasion amounting to $30 billion was said to have occurred in activities such as over-the-counter purchase for importation, foreign loan interest payments, forex allocation to companies, and oil revenue, among others. Speaker, House of Representatives Felix Gbajabiamila says this investigative hearing, jointly carried out by committees of finance, banking and currency, is expected to identify the sources of the leakages and the systematic failure that created them. The Joint Committee urged those invited to forward their submissions, stressing that the exercise is not a witch hunt, but to simply ensure that all actors play by the rules and pay into the treasury what is due to the government.
It is my pleasure to welcome all of you, to these critical stakeholders, to this very important national assignment, which we hope will benefit Nigeria and Nigerians. Let me reiterate to the invited guests to this important national assignment, the resolve of the Joint Committee under our leadership and dedicated membership that we will undertake all that is humanly possible to block leakages in tax revenue, generation, remittances, and utilization. We will pursue sundry tax reform measures, particularly policy and regulatory guidelines, including streamlining of the hitherto complex and multi-layer system with a view to broadening the scope of the country's sources of tax revenue. It is imperative to note that Nigeria has to raise tax revenue and ensure its judicious utilization for accelerated development. This cannot be overemphasized. It is on this background that we move this motion because of our genuine desire and stronger commitment to see that funds are available to finance appropriation acts passed by the National Assembly. It is noted that year in, year out, over $20 billion are leaked or refused to be paid by participants in the business sector. It is also a greater belief that the present financial predicament Nigeria finds herself can safely be avoided only if participants in the Nigerian social and economic contracts conduct businesses according to the dictates of the rule of law. The revenue leakage of amounting to over $30 billion that we have evidence to is, if effectively and efficiently blocked and recovered, will bring funds enough to finance our national and state budgets without recourse to external or even domestic borrowing. This investigative hearing is therefore aimed at exposing these leakages and recommend appropriate legal reforms that will forestall future occurrence. At this juncture, I employ the cooperation and understanding of the stakeholders to participate effectively with sincere commitment. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
Revenue leakages that cost the federal government of Nigeria in excess of 20 billion, and the key word here is per annum. Excess of 30 billion per annum. So in other words, what this House or this committee is trying to do is to plug what we've all been mouthing, leakages and revenues, to the tune of over 30 billion every single year. This investigation is not to witch hunt, it's not to declare anybody guilty of such. It is an investigation to find out what is going on and to plug those leakages. And it is an investigation, a journey that is embarked on by the constitutional powers derived under Section 88 and Section 89 of the Constitution. To investigate for the purposes of, for such purposes as leaking, plugging loopholes, efficiency, exposing corruption, if any. And that's why we're here today. That 4 of the banks who are supposed to be here are not here. Gives me great concern. But I want to make it clear that the House is not going to sit idly. We don't want to be forced to go to the full extent of the law, in this case, the Constitution, to exercise the full powers of the House of Representatives. And I will refer those banks and everybody else to get a copy of the Constitution and go very quickly to Section 88 and Section 89, wherever you may be, to appreciate and understand what I'm talking about when I say the full extent of the powers of the House of Representatives. I will not say more than that. To the Joint Chairman or to the Joint Committee, I will ask that you extend the second invitation to those 4 banks for a convenient time for you, and take them into consideration as well. Because you have a time limit upon which your report must be submitted to the House. And this job must be done. So I will leave it at that, and I believe the word is enough for the wise. I welcome all of you to the House of Representatives on this occasion, and I thank you for being here today. Today, our country is facing significant revenue challenges because of the global collapse in the price of crude oil, brought about by a severe and ongoing contraction in the global economy and the consequent reduction in demand for fossil fuels. Here at home, we have not escaped the global economic downturn, which means that even local tax receipts are falling precipitously. The sum of all this is that we do not have the resources we need to deliver on our development ambitions and the infrastructure projects we have committed to. Under the circumstances, it is unconscionable that we are still losing vast sums of money to avoidable leakages in the system. The House of Representatives has resolved to identify the sources of these leakages and the systemic failures that have either created them or caused them to persist. We will follow on from that by taking necessary action to propose and implement solutions that will ensure our country no longer loses these huge sums that we desperately need to build infrastructure and support enterprise that creates jobs for our people. For this joint committee to deliver on the mandate of the House in this instance, there is a need to work with the ministries, departments, and agencies of government. This effort by the House is in fulfillment of our constitutional obligations, and we intend to act always with integrity and diligence in the best interest of our nation. I encourage our executive colleagues to see this as an opportunity for constructive collaboration in the national interest. Finally, I thank all of you who have taken the time to be here this morning, and I wish you all successful deliberations as I declare this hearing open to the glory of God and the service of our country. God bless you all, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Today we had invited Unity Bank, they are here, Stanbic IBTC, UBA, Polaris, and First City Monument Bank. For one reason or the other 4 banks are not here. And of course, like Mr. Speaker has said, we should not be forced to use all the constitutional powers available to us, including warrant of arrest, to compel them to appear. Tomorrow, by the grace of God, we expect Fidelity Bank, Keystone, FBN Merchant Bank, Access Bank, and Bank of Industry. So, judgment of the press, I will give you a list of these. On Wednesday, we expect Jay's, Coronation, Sun Trust, Union Bank, and Citibank. On Thursday, we expect GTB, EcoBank, First Bank of Nigeria, FSDH Merchant Bank, and Sterling Bank. On Friday, we expect Zenith Bank, Wema, Standard Chartered, and Heritage Bank. And after that, we move to the second phase, which is to the participants in the economic sector. That is the oil companies. So on the 14th of July, we'll be starting with Ajib Exploration, Nigerian Ajib Company, again, Pan Ocean Oil Nigeria Limited, and Shell Nigeria Exploration and Producing Company Limited. On 15th of July, we will expect to meet ESOP Exploration and Producing Nigeria Limited, Mobil, Statoil, and of course Shell Petroleum Development Company. They are two different things. And on Thursday, the 16th, we hope to take Star Deepwater Petroleum, Total E&P, Total Upstream, and Sterling Oil Exploration Energy. And Friday, we expect to take ADAX Petroleum Company Limited, ADAX Petroleum Development Company Limited, and ADAX Exploration Limited. This will then end the conflict, then we move to the third phase.
Our submission is broken down into a summary of the foreign exchange sales and purchases for the required period 2010 to 2019, as well as details of stamp duty and withholding tax and value-added tax. So the summary of the submission is that for the period 2010 to 2019, the total sum of purchases and sales of foreign exchange by our bank stood at $1.051.64 billion US dollars. 1.051.6. Both, because it's purchases and sales. So what we bought is what we sold.
Certificate of no capital importation, no cash inflow.
For all inflows into the country, debt or equity through our bank, the appropriate certificate of capital importation had been issued.
Okay, have you submitted the documents relating to all the certificate of capital importations? Because we don't have your document, that's why we have to ask you this.
Okay, all the documents have been submitted, Mr. Chairman. And the soft copy of that has also been...
Sorry?
The soft copy of that has also been submitted.
Soft and hard copies?
Soft copies.
What about the hard copies?
Mr. Chairman, sir, we were told that the soft copy will suffice. We should just summarize.
Who told you? Your FORMEM and the SGDs and all the copies of utilization of that FORMEM.
That's right.
Of course, the hard copies. Like you have said, the revenue collected on behalf of FRS and the remittances.
And the remittances.
Now, we also observe certain things from the submissions of other banks because we need to tell you this so that you don't go forward and backward. We are aware that either you borrowed money from foreign lender or your customers borrowed money from foreign lenders and you pay interest, they pay interest on loan. We need all the documents relating to that loan
yes,
that
Mr.
brought
Chairman.
in the money and the interest payments.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
You understand what I mean?
It's understood.
Okay.
You are a business entity. I believe so. And I believe you have some level of transparency in your doing business. Is it true? Do you have anything to hide? Hold on. Do you have anything to hide in the present engagement with the Parliament as far as this investigation is concerned?
No,
yes or no?
No, sir.
Thank you.
Recent court judgment about our former colleague who sued us about the bill we wanted to consider. And the court has made it explicitly clear they cannot interfere in the running of the House. And I think that maybe you brought it on Friday. Our legal department should, of course, address that. What we are here to do is an investigative hearing and not in the running of your bank. Secondly, Mr. Chairman, the first thing we should have done is to put them on oath, because this is the business of the house, because anything they say after here, we should hold them responsible as well. Thank you.
The letter to the bank is specific. Make inquiry about remittances, that revenue, and be sure that what is accrued to government goes to government. So I've not read this. So some customers went to court that they don't want the parliament to ask that question. That's the implication. So what's the order, sir? Is it a retaliatory injunction or what? Is it court grant that they should? The court now barred the bank from supplying that information. I would suggest, Mr. Chairman, sir, that we should actually take a look at what he has there, so that we take an informed decision. But like he already said, there's no court that can stop the parliament from doing the job. So I assume that the customer will have gone to court under a different condition. I'm not sure the court is properly informed of the reason for this gathering. So I would suggest, Mr. Chairman, sir, can we take a look at this? Maybe take 5 minutes look at this, get the legislature and take an informed decision. Yeah.
A follow-up to that judgment states that you as an individual might wish to go to court, but you cannot prevent us from working, carrying out our duty as in the rule of separation of powers. We should be allowed to exist as much as you have your right to go to court. And that judgment says that you cannot say that something is wrong when it is not yet a law, meaning that you can't stop us from carrying on an investigation. You can only do that when we have concluded our legislative duty on that matter. So whatever is an area of concern has to wait until we are done with our investigative duty there too. That's what the judgment says. It's a ruling of a court. Just last week, yes.
Agent Mr. Lawali on the committee clerk on how we will get the documents they asked us to submit. So it's not the bank that went to court. The customer on behalf of the customer that went. So it's not us. We are not the one that went to court. So we've been engaging Mr. Lawali on the best way possible in terms of how to remit those things to them. Thank you.
Association of Customers of Stanbic IBTC. You have a registered association of registered customers of Stanbic IBTC. You don't have? Okay. The Chief Taiwo, Wale Taiwo, who is the plaintiff, SAL. I put it to you that Chief Wale Taiwo is the lawyer of IBTC. I put it to you. Deny. I put it to you that Chief Wale Taiwo, SAL, is the lawyer of IBTC, has always been the lawyer of IBTC. So it is IBTC that induced him to go on behalf of other customers. I put it to you. Okay. Then what you gave us is just a motion. It is not a court order. You need to be very clear. It's a motion and not a court order. I also want to make it clear, honorable colleagues, that by the time we finish with this investigation, my colleague had asked, Nigerians will see why IBTC went to court, because they have so many things to hide. As far as our records are concerned, we have things that we needed you to clarify, and we wrote you to clarify, submit documents for clarification. So if you don't submit, by the time we finish in court, I'm sure the government will be entitled to collect interest on all those outstanding, which we'll be asking for that the court to do. Thank you very much. You may take your leave.
We have seen what is submitted is not in full compliance with our requirements. We are going to give you a template to use.
We have our template 1, which covers the equity, the FDI, money market, government security, treasury-based, loan stock, equipment, and others. We'll give it to you so that you compare like that. Then template 2 you have is your dividend repatriation, capital, principal loan repayment, and interest. Then your template 3 will show the CBN, invisible and SME, autonomous, interbank, companies, individuals, and MoneyGram. So that you take this and return it to us by Wednesday, so that we can take you. There's also some questionnaire we'll give to you to aid you to cover other areas. Because the one you submitted earlier, we are still finding it difficult to work with everything that we've seen there. So we'll give you these 2 forms. You'll go and give us a presentation in line with what we're giving to you now. You should get back to us by 3 p.m. on Wednesday. Then on Friday, you'll also be here. On behalf of the 2 committees, we want to thank you for finding time to be here at this opening ceremony. We want to make it abundantly clear that this investigative hearing, it is not about witch hunting anybody or any organization, but it's about assisting Nigeria in getting out of its financial woods that we find ourselves. We, as Chairman of Finance Committee and Banking, we are very sure that Nigeria has enough resources within the system if and only if every player in the economic sector play by the rules. What we mean by playing by the rules means that let everybody pay the taxes that the organizations or individuals are due to pay. We have records to show that Nigeria is losing over $30 billion every year to malpractices, evasive of taxes, legally due to government. It was based on that this motion was moved for investigation to be done, and letters have been written to banks in the first instance before we move to the next stage. And letters also were written to the oil companies too. We expect responses from the banks. Some have submitted documents, partial documents, some have not submitted at all. We want to plead that if the banks have nothing to hide, they should respond to our letters and submit all the required documents. Failure which, of course, as mentioned by Mr. Speaker, the committee and the House will be forced to use the constitutional powers within its available to it. And that is to say, to compel appearance by issuing warrant of arrest. We are not, like we said, we are not witch hunting. We also don't want to pass judgment on anybody. Ours is to recommend, to look at what is happening, recommend for the reforms of our laws to be able to block such loopholes in the future. This, we expect that affected people should cooperate with us. Every day in the next weeks, months, we will be sitting here to look at these issues. And God bless Nigeria. Thank you.
Those who appear include the Ministry of Finance, Central Bank of Nigeria, commercial banks, and some private entities. That is the size of our package on the program today. We thank you for watching. Join us same time next week as we bring to you another episode. I'm Lami Ali, and bye for now.
Days away. You can watch NTA International live on your TV, computer, iPad, tablet and phone. Log on to visiontv.co.uk and click on Entertainment, then NTAI. You can also download the iOS or Android app